NEC Article 300.3 addresses the separation of circuit conductors. It states that conductors of different systems, circuits, and classes of voltage must be separated from each other by a barrier. This barrier must be a continuous and firmly fixed non-conductor that provides a permanent separation between the conductors. This requirement means that, in general, 4,160 to 13,800 volt high voltage cables and 100 pair telephone cables cannot be installed in the same manhole without a barrier between them. The purpose of this separation is to prevent fault currents from one system from affecting another, reducing the risk of electrical shock and fire. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, does not specifically address the use of telephone cables in the same manhole as high voltage cables. However, one might consider NEC Article 300.15 exception number 1. This exception allows conductors of different systems, circuits, and classes of voltage to be installed in the same raceway cable or enclosure where separated by a continuous and firmly fixed non-conductor that provides a permanent separation between the conductors. The key point here is whether a manhole qualifies as a raceway, cable, or enclosure. The interpretation is that this exception allows different conductors to be installed in the same raceway, cable, or enclosure provided they are separated by a continuous and firmly fixed non-conductor. However, this exception does not generally apply to manholes, as they are not typically considered raceways, cables, or enclosures in the context of this rule. Therefore, based on the NEC requirements and the absence of any specific exceptions for manholes, it is generally not permissible to install 4,160 to 13,800 volt high voltage cables and 100 pair telephone cables in the same manhole without a barrier between them. The requirement for a barrier helps to maintain safety and prevent interference between power and communication systems. In practice, this often means that separate manholes are used for power and communication cables, or that a physical barrier, such as a concrete wall or a fire-rated partition, is installed within the manhole to separate the two systems. This separation minimizes the risk of electrical hazards and ensures the reliable operation of both power and communication networks. It's crucial to always consult the latest edition of the NEC and local electrical codes for specific requirements and interpretations in particular jurisdictions. Furthermore, always seek guidance from qualified electrical engineers or inspectors to ensure compliance with all applicable regulations and to maintain a safe electrical installation. The NEC guidelines are intended to provide a baseline for safety, and local codes may have additional requirements or interpretations that must be followed. Remember that electrical installations should always be performed by qualified professionals to minimize the risk of electrical hazards. A qualified professional will be able to properly assess the specific conditions of an installation, including voltage levels, conductor types, and environmental factors, to determine the best approach for ensuring safety and compliance with all applicable codes and standards.